What the hell is up, geeks? We are the Geekery Gamers Collective, and this is the big gaming show, which is what we're calling it this week. I'm, for some reason, your host, Rhiannon Hunter. Next to me, Connor and Josh, and a 90-year-old woman in a bucket hat.
Oh my god.
And today we have an awesome show for you guys, I think. Little tidbit I thought we could start off with is what's everybody playing right now?
Well, I'm playing Uncharted whenever I have any time.
Right.
Uncharted 4.
Overwatch for me. I've been playing a lot of Overwatch.
I think that's probably the rest of us. We've been losing it in Overwatch.
Overwatch and The Witcher 3.
Yeah,
Nice.
DLC.
Dude, I still haven't cracked that open yet.
All right, well, starting things off with, we're going to do a post-E3 discussion. Thought we'd all talk about how we felt about E3 this year. We just go down the line?
Yeah,
Sure.
up until Sony's press conference, I wasn't really excited for anything. And then Sony's press conference came and just blew everything else out of the water. Just game trailer after game trailer after game trailer, and I was just like, this is f***ing tight. The big standouts for me was Last Guardian getting a release date, Death Stranding, Resident Evil, God of War 4, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Okay. I might take it a step farther. I was, for the most part, let down by this year's E3. Just going down the list, I have no idea why Mass Effect is still so not ready to be released. Battlefield and Titanfall look awesome. Bethesda really bored the crap out of me, to be honest. I don't care about a Skyrim remaster. I don't think anybody should.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited for a new
play
Prey. Not really caring about the new Quake. Microsoft's conference I thought was good. I didn't think it was that great. Our last show we did the predictions, and one of my predictions was I thought that they should announce 3 new IPs. No new IPs on the Microsoft front.
Nothing. Yeah, you tanked on that.
Yeah, I did. I absolutely tanked
It's
on
your
that.
fault.
I probably jinxed them.
it.
Yeah.
Also, though, we still got new games. They just weren't IPs. Like, we got State of Decay 2, we got Dead Rising 4, and we got some new footage of Sea of Thieves. No release date on that. Huge bummer. Sea of
so
Thieves
good,
looks
though.
awesome.
Yeah.
Looks really fun.
When you were talking about that, I was like, yeah, I don't really know how to see this for myself. And I watched the trailer and I was like, oh, God, I don't really care about this.
Yeah, watching YouTubers playing
the
it is
gameplay
not...
was... No,
Yeah.
the gameplay is what sold me.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the actual trailer, I was like, this doesn't look that good. And then I saw them having fun. I was like, I'm having fun!
Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah.
So
They were
that's-
borderline obnoxious, but it sold the idea that co-op is going to be a big part of that, which is cool, because we don't really have a lot of that. Other than that, Gears of War looks really good. Rest of Microsoft's conference, they had good hardware announcements. It seemed like Scorpio is
kind of hinted at, like it was.
Yeah.
There's no official announcement.
All
or anything like
from what I gather is that since they announced Scorpio, they're the reason why Sony did not announce Neo, because Scorpio has much higher specs, and it seems like Sony needs to dial back and start working to make a more
harder on
powerful
that.
console, which was really cool to see them having a foot in the console war again.
Yeah.
Other than that, Sony's press conference was great. I liked all the gameplay trailers. The main problem nobody's touching on is there were no release dates for almost any of those games we saw. God of War, there wasn't a release date. Death Stranding, obviously no release date. That game's probably 4 years out.
You're probably right.
Yeah.
To be honest.
All we know is dead whales and the whale babies.
And
Well, do you
we saw
guys-
the first Metal Gear Solid 5 trailer like 2012, I think.
Yeah.
11 or 12, and Metal Gear Solid 5 is only 6 months old now. Other than that, Days Gone, we didn't get a release date for that either. VR looks impressive, but also
Very impressive.
their only game that seemed like a standout to me in VR was Resident Evil, because
Yeah.
it's like a complete game that you can play in VR.
I mean, the thing was, Skyrim was completely adaptable to VR with the Oculus Rift and everything, so they're probably going to make the remastered version to be compatible with it.
Well,
That'd
but
be
you're saying probably though. You're not like no.
Yeah,
there's no
that
official
wasn't
release date.
announced.
Sure, I'm just
Yeah.
saying probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be tight. Like I'd be more into it for that. But sorry, I'm cutting you off.
No, you're fine. That was basically it. I was bummed that there weren't any release dates. I was bummed there weren't more new IPs on all fronts. Other than that, I thought it was good. I just wasn't blown away. This is like, we're deep into the console cycle now, and so I think we should just be getting more games. It seemed like the third-party games kind of stole the show
Yeah.
somehow.
Yeah, I don't really have much more to say on top of what you guys have, like, because everything I'm going to say is like reiterating basically what you guys have already said. The lack of release dates does kind of suck, but at the same time, I want it to be done when it's done. Like, I want it to be good. I want it to be finished. Release dates could hinder games. If you actually have a solid release date, then it could be rushing the games to make sure that like they're out by the release date instead of making sure that they're good. As a whole. And like I want a completed game, I don't necessarily want like a repeat of Watch Dogs 1 where like we were promised all these cool things and
we're given maybe half of it.
Right. And then like the visuals weren't as good, like not everything was as
The only problem I find with that is that then you get what's happening with Mass Effect right now is that you announce a game way too early before it's even ready to be shown anything, and then people start getting tired of it. But I do totally agree that for the most part, release dates are kind of like subjective.
Yeah.
So for sure,
there's just like suggestions, you know, like oh well, it's like an expiration date, you know, like oh well, you should use it by here, but like you could probably use it in the next 2 weeks, except for on a larger, more grand scale. That was a weird analogy on my part. It's not games aren't cottage cheese. Don't worry.
Some games are cottage cheese.
Some games are
in
cottage
the
cheese.
freezer to make them last longer is what we're trying to say.
Oh yeah, that's actually a great analogy.
No, you still probably should do that. Actually.
I really want to play For Honor. It looks like it has a really good combat system. I'm really interested in what they're going to do with like PvP with that. Final Fantasy 15, honestly, the gameplay looks really fun. I kind of just want to make like a road trip killing people.
They didn't demo that game well.
No,
I don't think.
They died during that.
Which actually I think is pretty cool because like no one dies during.
I think they were showing just how hard that game is going to be.
Right.
Because weren't they playing on the highest difficulty?
Yeah, I believe
Something
so.
like that. Yeah. Dishonored 2 is going to be awesome.
It is.
That game also didn't demo well, I thought.
Well, yeah, but
It does look awesome. I will agree that it looks
it's
awesome.
one of those things, if it's just Dishonored, but with like a full story of new missions, I'd be okay with it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Dishonored is one of the best sneaking games I've ever played.
Yeah.
It sounded like you used sneaking as an expletive. Like that was the best sneaking game I've ever played.
I've been a fan of Metal Gear Solid since I was 4, so like I've been kind of a fan of sneaking games. But
Yeah.
Well, the stealth genre is like one of my favorites.
Yes,
for sure.
and Dishonored is kind of the spiritual successor to the Thief games.
Yeah.
Don't talk about Thief 4 because that game's not. That game. Hate that
I
game.
haven't played it, but everyone hates it.
Once a year, I'm good. I love stealth games once a year because I play stealth games stealthy, and when I get caught, I go, and I just hit the checkpoint and go back to the very beginning.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
So I can only do that so many games a year.
I'm surprised none of you talked about Horizon.
It looks great, but it's kind of in the same state it was last E3. It's just like, I just want to play it. I know what it's about.
I think it showed how you like take down the monsters more.
It was long and it was impressive. It was nice that there's this big systematic way of taking down certain things.
It's almost
I like that.
It's almost intimidating.
It makes you feel like a badass, though.
Right.
When you're fighting. It looks super cool.
Yeah.
You have to use different arrows for like each like point and everything.
Horizon was probably my takeaway from the whole of E3. That was probably my favorite.
I think that's by far my favorite Sony exclusive coming out.
I'm pretty stoked for Death Stranding because I was super stoked for Silent Hills.
Well, and that's the thing I was going to bring up earlier was, do you think that there's going to be Silent Hills elements in this, or do you think that there's some sort of like
if anything, it will have
issues
elements, but Hideo Kojima actually said it will be an action game.
Okay, yeah, like I said, it's going to be in the style of like The Division or Uncharted or
he said he's drawn a lot of influence from like Uncharted and Last of Us, stuff like that, for games like that. So it's definitely not going to be a stealth game.
right.
And I don't think it's going to be scary. It looks like it has some really creepy elements to it, but
more of like a thriller, you think?
Yeah, I would say
just like a
action
mystery
thriller.
kind of thing. Yeah.
I like to think Hideo Kojima and Norman Reedus just hang out and talk about weird
Norman
shit.
Reedus or Norman Fetus?
Norman Fetus.
Those are the main things.
Rusty, I know you're a fan of the anime series Berserk. What do you think of them announcing
I'm
the Berserk
so happy.
Yeah, they announced a Berserk Dynasty Warriors game, and it looks...
Berserk is the shit.
It's the most metal thing of all time. That was another big one that I think flew under the radar, but a lot of people are excited for.
Yeah, I didn't even hear about that.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited for the remastered Skyrim, especially if like it is compatible with VR.
It's fun because I haven't played that game in 5 years.
Yeah.
I'm okay with playing that game again. I would like to play Oblivion. I would much rather, if we're going the remastered route, I would much rather Oblivion or Morrowind.
Morrowind for sure.
But
It's gonna be so hard to remaster Morrowind for them right now.
Oh,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? Because all the dialogue is completely different.
But see, that's where you kind of lose me, because I feel like it wouldn't be, because of the fact that Fallout is their best-selling game to date. They have so much money, and they have this small team that still can't even build a decent graphics engine, like without crashing over and over again. And I just feel like that money has to be able to go to something, and you would think they could get the resources for a remaster.
Here's what I'm thinking with the Skyrim remaster is that it's probably like a test. They're like, hey, we have some upgraded stuff. Let's just put this out, test it. Like it's gonna be. I mean, it's not an easy thing to do to just remaster something, but like it's easier than building a whole new game.
Yeah.
So they're testing this stuff out. They're slapping new graphics on this, and then what they're really doing is like, here, this will bide your time for a while, so that when we announce Elder Scrolls 6, it'll be much softer blow that it's going to be a while still.
Yeah, I think that is kind of what I think they're testing the waters to see, because eventually I think they want to remaster all of them, which would be cool.
Dude, Morrowind is like, that's the one that I care about.
Yeah, Morrowind is the one that I care about as well.
Morrowind's my favorite game of all time.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite games of all time. I love Morrowind. And I think they're testing the waters with Skyrim, because Skyrim is the best selling out of all of them.
Most accessible.
And it is probably the easiest transitionally, because it was just last gen.
Yeah.
So transitionally is probably the easiest, rather than rebuilding it from the ground up, like we would have to do with Morrowind.
Right.
So.
Hey, thanks for watching. Sorry for that abrupt cutoff there. We kind of forgot to shoot any sort of ending to these segments, so here I am. If you'd like to watch the next part of the video, you can go ahead and click here, and it'll take you to the next one. Thank you guys for watching again, and make sure to subscribe, comment below, give us a like if you liked what we're talking about here. And let us know if you think we can improve the format, if you have any tips or ideas like, hey, you want to see this in the show, you want to hear us talk about this video game, whatever. Drop us those ideas below in the comments. And yeah, as always, game on.